for me, anarchy is the art of relating freely as equals. Anarchist studies is a realm within that, an art within an art. Obviously, it includes studying anarchism, looking at all the ways in which people are already organizing themselves together cooperatively through direct forms of democracy, direct action in the broadest sense, and direct experience. For me, it's also how we research, how we communicate what we learn. I like Judy Greenway's suggestion of an anarchist methodology, of finding ways to allow multiple voices to participate. To blend histories, ethnographies, interviews, other kinds of stories, to escape any disciplinary bounds. And then how we communicate what we learn, what kind of stories we tell. And how those stories are told in a way that they might awaken something in people, some desire, some will to participate in the world as equals. To recognize that they are no better and no worse than anyone else. It's funny, isn't it, how in our minds we're drawn to comparison, to decide that so-and-so is a better such and such, or that we know better than someone else. It happens to me all the time. But it's not true, is it? It's just a thought. I mean, sure, we can all nourish our skills, our capacities to do different things in different ways. And there will be some people from whom we more obviously learn. But I suppose for me, if anarchist studies is going to be different from other disciplines, if it's going to really nourish a great capacity for equality and for freedom, there must be a recognition of the ways in which we learn from so many people, so many beings, so many situations and experiences. I've never taught a class or a workshop where I didn't learn so much from the people who were the students, supposedly, and I was the teacher. Or from my fellow students, or from strangers in the street, or in the trains, or participating in actions or organizing events, or so I'd like to have quite an expansive definition of learning, where anarchist studies is not confined to the classroom, or even to the demonstration, or to any idea of what politics is or of what education is, but moves beyond those ideas of space into all the experiences of our lives. It's possible to see so much beauty all around us. I suppose for me the tradition of anarchism that draws me the most is the one that sees the anarchy that's always already there, the way in which ecosystems function cooperatively in order to work, Sure, there's elements of competition, but if everything were really out for itself, the whole thing would fall apart quickly. And the same goes for any human system. There's always cooperation, always care, always mutual aid, always a degree of freedom. So for me, anarchist studies and the way I do it, and the way that inspires me, is to recognize the equality, the freedom, the anarchy that already exists, and to nourish it, to recognize it, to support it. It's not so crucial to me anymore to attack the ideologies and the patterns that I find painful. I don't want to give them so much of my attention anymore. And partly that's because whenever I attack some way of thinking, some way of doing, I can see that I do the same thing myself sometimes. Maybe not on as grand a scale. I don't have an army and I don't have a corporation. But no one really does. No one has those things. They're just patterns of obedience that happen. But that desire to be in control, to always think about how I can benefit, or to put things in boxes and judge them in terms of those boxes, what Deleuze and Guattari call the essence of the state. My mind does that too. So I don't feel like I'm in a position above anyone else to judge them for that. Or if I do, then I'm acting like the state. So for me, anarchist studies is about encouraging and supporting the wonders that already exist, the great powers of anarchy that are keeping our world going. And there are so many to look at, so many inspiring things happening. And by participating in them, by sharing them, by invoking them and nourishing them, by offering food for thought, and words that touch people, words that strike a chord, that help people maybe see something they've always seen, or know something they've always known. Those are the teachings that I value and I love to see. Thank you.